Hi everyone. So our next assignment is loosely called letter as character or letter and character. And I don't want you to get too hung up on what does that mean? Am I interpreting this correctly? I really want this just be a loose idea that can inspire an interesting poster. This assignment is fairly loose, but the main idea is to create a poster with interesting lettering, and it can contain a full illustration. So I'm going to show you some examples of work that I consider to be letter as character or letters interacting with a character. Either way, the main focus of the poster should be the lettering. It should not act as a title or separate from the main illustration, but I really want it to be incorporated. So we'll start with some examples. So thinking about letter as character, this project could feel kind of similar to Illuminated Letter, but it will be different in that I really want you to have more than one letter. So the letters themselves can kind of have a character feeling to them. I want them to definitely feel, I want you to pay attention to detail and be attentive to how the letters affect the image. But this is just kind of one approach. This one by Jessica Hische is an example of how the letters kind of are integrated into the illustration by acting as star constellations. Again, this one by Jill DeHaan. The letters really feel like they're a part of the illustration. She uses the branches and leaves to create these letters and really create a full and interesting illustration. So kind of switching gears, the idea of letter and character is slightly different. So the letter and character, they're not fully integrated, but at the same time, it does create a cohesive illustration. So this one by Tad Carpenter, the letters are really well designed, and the illustrations and the words, they all go together in this one theme. They have similar details. I love this example by Carl James Mountford and how the words really become a part of the house, and they have their own character, and they fit the mood of this book cover. This is an example how the words become part of the image, how cycle becomes the actual bike of this cyclist. I think Mary Kate McDevitt always does interesting kind of combination of letter and character, and thinking about how these letters really relate to the feeling of her illustrations. Here's some more examples. If you go onto her website, she makes these pamphlets. These show a lot of different ways that she uses type and illustration together. In some ways, I think this one is not the best example because you kind of have the type on one side and the illustration on the other. And I'd like to see something more like this where they're working together. This is a little different because she's working with a spread, so that affects the way that her image is composed. But thinking about how can these characters interact with this lettering is kind of the idea of this assignment. This is another simple one. It's time for pie, and thinking about how the letters go with the message and how everything comes together in a cohesive way. So your parameters are that you can choose either a 12 by 12 inch square or a 10 by 14 kind of more traditional poster, horizontal or vertical. And then because this isn't a core class, I'm not as concerned about what medium you're using, if you want to use traditional or digital. For this one, I really want you to focus on, using something that will help you to create an interesting image, interesting lettering. So that's really more the focus of this piece more than the medium you use. And your information about deadlines will be in Canvas, and you can go through and check that out.